All right, for Vodcast, for Chapter 6, I'll be talking about deep processing and how I can use it to be more effective at studying and learning new facts and information in the future. In the past, I've been using maintenance rehearsal techniques for studying, basically just reading information and definitions over and over, trying to memorize them for tests and quizzes. Studying this way will only retain information in my working memory for a short period of time. So this might be effective if the test is that day or the next day. But if I need to remember this information for the future and access it in my long-term memory, it's not going to be very effective at all. So in the future, I'll be using elaborative rehearsal so the information I'm learning can be stored in my long-term memory for later retrieval. I can do this by making connections between the new information and something I already know or something that's meaningful to me. I realized last spring when I took abnormal psychology, I used the reference effect a lot in that class because growing up with a lot of friends and family members that struggled with mental illness, the information I was learning was very relevant to my life and had a strong emotional connection to most of the stuff I was learning, which made it a lot easier for me to retain that information. And I almost got 100% in that class, and still to this day, when I'm discussing mental illness with people, I reference a lot of that information that I learned in that class, so it's still fresh in my mind. I think using the generation effect to create these podcasts helps me retain information better. The information I use to create these podcasts is stored in my long-term memory a lot better than just reading the book or reading over the definitions. All the information I've used in past podcasts are still pretty fresh in my mind. I remember most of it. Next semester, I plan on taking applied statistics and 1 or 2 science classes. Math and science are my weakest subjects. So I'm going to experiment next semester and see if I can use the method of Loki or the story method to memorize formulas, new facts and information, and see if it improves my test scores and my overall scores in the class. I took a 6-year break from school because I was intimidated by math and science classes. So I'm very grateful that I learned these deep processing methods in this class so I can use them in the future to improve my scores on tests, on subjects I'm not that great at, and just improve my overall test scores. And I want to be a clinical psychologist in the future, so all this information I'm learning in psychology classes specifically, I want to retain in my long-term memory so I can use it in my career and to help my clients. So this was a very interesting chapter, and I learned a lot, and I'm probably going to use a lot of the information I learned in Chapter 6 in the future, and it's going to better my life.